Snap launches $2,195 Specs consumer AR glasses. Developers gain local Claude execution without cloud round trips. That moves the margin discussion from Snap's hardware to Anthropic's API terms baked into every session. Meta now has to decide whether Orion ships with comparable coding agents or watches its AR roadmap leak pilots to Specs early adopters. The $2,000 tag tests whether enterprises will pay for spatial agents before consumer apps catch up. Expect fast replies from Meta and Apple on their own agent layers. Agentjacking attack hijacks AI coding agents. Error logs just became the weakest link in agent workflows. One fake Sentry alert now routes malicious payloads straight into production code changes. That raises the cost of every autonomous coding session because teams must add manual review layers they thought were obsolete. Claude Code and Cursor users will demand signed error sources from Sentry and Datadog within the next release cycle or face audit failures at scale. Expect spread to other tools before patches land. Gemma 3 becomes first AI model running in orbit. Downlink bandwidth just lost its monopoly on Earth observation insights. Onboard Gemma 3 lets operators query imagery in orbit, cutting response times from hours to seconds for events like wildfires. That pressures traditional satellite operators to retrofit compute modules within 18 months or cede defense contracts to firms already flying updated models. Loft's success tests whether export controls can keep advanced vision models grounded on future missions. Watch for the first classified payloads to adopt similar stacks by next year. xAI releases Grok add-in for Microsoft Word. Office documents now pull live X context without leaving the ribbon. That gives xAI a direct line into enterprise writing habits that rivals only see through paid Copilot logs at much higher cost. This forces Microsoft to embed X signals or lose default status inside Word. Free access lowers the trial barrier, yet the data advantage compounds with every rewrite across teams. Copilot teams now face a clear integration deadline before user habits lock in. OpenAI publishes groundbreaking drug discovery AI research. Regulators still demand wet lab confirmation for every AI-suggested compound. That gap hands established pharma an unexpected edge because they already maintain those facilities. Smaller startups now scramble to license both the model and a CRO partner within the same quarter. Otherwise, their candidate molecules sit idle, while competitors with integrated teams move straight to Phase 1. The publication raises the bar on capital requirements rather than lowering them. Series B decks now list regulatory validation spend from day one. Google makes Gemini 2.5 Flash default model. Flash now sits under every Gemini call, which means latency drops but context window pricing stays unchanged for heavy users. Teams will burn through larger contexts faster now that responses arrive quicker. Enterprise teams that moved workloads to save on tokens will see bills climb once usage scales past the free tier. Google gains default status, yet risks margin compression if Anthropic matches the speed tier without raising its own rates. Procurement leads at large accounts are already running side-by-side cost audits this quarter. AI cheating apps spark school detection arms race. Schools equipped with keystroke logging now watch detection rates fall week over week. Students simply route prompts through external apps that insert deliberate pauses and edits. The arms race therefore pushes districts toward device-level restrictions rather than better software. Several large public systems are already testing full offline policies for essays starting next fall. Turnitin loses its primary data source if the pattern spreads. Parents are requesting paper-only assignments in district meetings. Adobe expands creative AI agent capabilities. Design teams inside agencies can now hand off first-pass iterations to agents without touching Photoshop. Retainer contracts priced on revision rounds suddenly look expensive once clients see the new throughput. Mid-size shops will either cut their quoted hours by 30% or lose pitches to competitors who already adjusted pricing models. Adobe's move compresses project timelines, yet squeezes the billable work that paid for human oversight last year. Expect RFPs to specify agent-generated drafts as baseline next quarter. AI staffing platform raises $6 million. Traditional recruiters just lost their moat on technical hires. The new matching tools scan code repositories and model benchmarks directly, bypassing resumes entirely. This forces platforms like LinkedIn to either embed similar signals or watch their enterprise contracts migrate. Expect agency fees to drop sharply once hiring managers run their own queries against live model performance data. Labs using these tools will close roles in weeks instead of months, leaving traditional agencies with only non-technical placements to chase. ChatGPT app adds pronunciation tools and UX upgrades. Language learners just got a free tutor that corrects pronunciation in real time across dozens of tongues. The chat organization upgrades mean power users will keep long-running projects alive instead of starting fresh every week. Duolingo loses its audio edge once students can practice conversations directly inside the model they already pay for. Sharing features turn every corrected session into shareable study material that spreads outside the app. Expect dedicated language platforms to pivot towards certification exams and human conversation matches. Databricks unveils Genie Agents at AI Summit. Data teams inside large enterprises now have native agents that query governed tables without writing SQL. The Unity AI Gateway adds policy enforcement at inference time, which raises the cost for any rival lakehouse trying to match feature parity. Snowflake must either license similar controls or accept that new workloads stay inside Databricks by default. Security teams gain audit trails they can show regulators without custom engineering. That shifts budget conversations towards single platform commitments in the next planning cycle.